They're looking for talent sooner and like earlier and earlier in their career. And what I'm seeing happen is a lot of comedians aren't getting the time they need to find their voice.
On my first US tour a few years ago, I turned up to New York alone and completely disorganized. And by disorganized, I mean I had no shows booked. But someone put me in touch with Marianne Ways, a legendary comedy booker and producer, who helped me put on some of my most memorable shows at ridiculously short notice. Today we're catching up to talk about her advice for people trying to get into stand-up at a cat cafe. Because why not?
I'm glad we came here.
I'm really glad we came here. I'm so happy. Like when you asked me where I wanted to go, like I assumed you meant like, what do I normally do in a day? It is not go to the cat cafe.
But I think from now on it will be go to the cat cafe. I'm wondering what filled this space in your life before this.
Absolutely nothing.
You just didn't have this joy. You just had a life without this joy.
It was mainly just me sitting at home being sad and wishing I had a cat. I talk about cats a lot, and I have a lot of like cat art.
Why do you not have a cat?
Because I'm never home. Like I know that cats can take care of themselves, but like I'm out of town almost half the year. Also, people just like assume I have 10 cats. I feel like I will definitely do that.
Because you speak like a cat lady?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I just like give off the
cat vibe.
Cat vibe. Yeah. You know, something that people don't know about cats, they love Yahtzee. They love it.
They love cat adaptations of games like Catopoly.
Yep. And they just love Apples to Apples because it's a classic.
That's amazing.
This is great.
I feel like young comics or people who want to be comics get advice from comedians.
Yeah.
But they don't normally talk to people like you who actually put things on and organize things and help people navigate like real life, which comedians are actually generally not good at.
That's fair.
And I see you on Facebook every now and then being like, if you're a young comedian, don't do what this guy did last night.
Oh God, yeah. I'm terrible. I mean, my advice is it's a job. That's a good place to start. Like I remember watching Dimitri Martin when he had only been doing it, I think, a few years, because he was a lawyer before that, and he would have new material every week, and it's because he would go to a coffee shop or go to an office and sit and write for hours. Baron Vaughn was the same way. Like a few comedians, this is back probably 12, 15 years ago in New York, they went to an office and they sat and they worked. They treated it like a job. Oh, here's the one that like really wants to love me. We're just gonna ignore him. And hi.
You kind of help yourself.
I know.
Mary.
I can't.
You're like, I'm just not going to talk to him. Hi, how are you? I love you. I love you so much. Love me back.
It's all I want is the love of that cat. Okay. So you know, it's a job. And like, if you're really passionate about a joke or material, and it's not working, work on it. Like,
or let it go.
But like, I definitely have seen younger comedians be like, I tried it didn't work, nobody liked it. I'm like, okay, well, how many times have you done it? 3? All right, we'll try it again, or figure out what's not working, or let it go. Yeah, like, if you're doing it a month and it's not salvageable, let it go. Or there are comedians that'll, no, why are you hissing at that cat? Stop it, that's mean. You're the mean one. He was just sleeping. I don't know.
Let a sleeping cat lie. You were going to say it, I'll say it. That's what you were trying to say.
This is my job too, and one of the things that I was angry about was a few times this has happened where I've been in the middle of running a show, which there's a lot that goes into running a comedy show, and I was standing up in the sound booth, and I had a moment where I didn't be running around, so I was listening to the comedian set, because that's an important part for me. Is I booked this person, I've seen them
watching
before,
the show that you're putting
watching it right, and like making sure that I put them in the right spot for future reference, or like what is their material about, whatever it is, or what's their new material that I haven't heard yet. And I've had comedians walk up to me in the middle of the show in a dark room, I can't even see their face, and they're like, hey, I'm so and so. Can I talk to you? I'd like to be on your show. And I'm like, what? Absolutely not. And it's going to make me never want to book you. Like, somebody did that to me a year ago, and I've had so many comedians like recommend this person to me. Like, hey, he's really funny. He's a great guy. And I'm like,
he's not a great guy.
He's not a great guy. He was incredibly rude. And they're like, give him another chance. He didn't know better. I'm like, fine. that's the problem that I have, is like I hold grudges.
Fine, after a year in purgatory, right. You will be allowed 5 minutes of my
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, other advice is just, when reaching out to bookers, I mean, make sure you're ready for whatever that show is. If it's an open mic, clearly anybody could do it. If it's like a bar show that gets 10 people in a back room and it's a workout show, and you feel like, hey, I have enough material to work out in front of a few strangers, great, go for it. The show that I run, it's like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like people think I'm really full of myself and like, you're not ready to do my show. I don't go around thinking that, but at the same time,
you have a standard.
But I do have standards, and like
the other comedians that you book have a certain standard,
absolutely.
And you need to match.
Right, and like my standard is really funny, so it's like basically it's weird. They're like at different levels to comedy shows in major cities, where it's the open micers, it's like the
1 or 2 year people,
yeah. All these different levels of shows, and my show is like kind of a level that it's not even a level, like it's not like you are going to get a TV show after you do my show, not at all. It's not like that. It's just they at least know that they're getting performers who have like a practice 10 minutes, and maybe they're famous, maybe they're not, but like they know that they can trust the lineup. So if you feel like you want to get on a show like this, and you need to first find the booker's email, and if you have to work for it, you have to work for it. Like, I have a list that I helped come up with where it's you probably saw I pulled Facebook of like, hey, what are the good comedy shows in New York right now? And it's just a list of like the name, the time, the location, and I do not include booker's information on there because in my mind, if you can't find that person's email, you're not ready to do the show. If you don't have friends you can ask, or like if you don't have the forethought to go to my website and look for my email, and like this is professional. And so again, a business. So don't message me on Facebook. That's personal. Don't send me on Instagram. Don't LinkedIn. Add me on LinkedIn. Like I've had people do that. And then so you find the email.
I feel like I've definitely messaged people on Facebook.
Yeah, and like.
But I knew them. I didn't. Not
right,
as like
a
them,
yeah. And like, sure. Sometimes there might be a booker who doesn't work over email, that only has Facebook, and your friends are going to tell you that. Like, okay, message them, oh, there's a cat on the top.
Has it been in there the whole time?
He's been in there the whole time. And he's going back in. Oh, God, I love cats.
He's like, oh, more cerebral comedy discussions. I already listened to 5 of these podcasts.
Oh.
This is actually a very appropriate song.
We don't have the rights.
Because we are begging the cats to show us what love is. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, with my fish.
I recently had a fellow booker do a panel, and I went to just watch it, and the comedians were saying like, what should my clip be like? And I agreed with everything she said, which is, the sound has to be good, the lighting has to be pretty good. Like it's, if you didn't get the tape that you wanted at the last show you did, go work on getting another tape. Even if there's not a ton of people in the audience, as long as like it's, there are a couple people laughing, but the sound is good, the quality is good, your material is good, it's going to speak for itself. And that's it. Another thing that irks me is if someone lives in New York and says, I've heard great things about your show, and they've never been to the show. Oh my God, I get so mad.
No,
come to the show.
That's terrible.
Terrible. And like, I don't really publicize this, but comedians get into my show for free. Like, if they ever email me saying, can I be put on the guest list? I'm like, yep, just tell them you're a comedian at the door.
But that's all, and it's kind of condescending to be like, hey Marianne, I've heard you're able to put on a pretty good show.
Right.
I've considered doing it as someone who's never done comedy.
Right. And like, that's the tricky thing is, audiences are different for every show. And some people, even no matter how funny they are, they could be, doing the club circuit, they could have had their own hour. They're gonna bomb with my audience because it's like not the right material for my audience, and like I'm not gonna put someone on my show that I think is gonna fail.
What are your thoughts on gentrification in Brooklyn? Are you unionized? Do you have a cats union? Are you organizing in the workplace? Better conditions?
So many networks and agents and managers want the next big thing. And so they're looking for talent sooner and like earlier and earlier in their career. And what I'm seeing happen is a lot of comedians aren't getting the time they need to find their voice. So, you know, someone will have a great 7 minutes, and then all of a sudden they're signed.
Buzz.
And then it's like they're being pushed to do everything, or they'll get a late night set, and they've just burned all of their material. And then it's like, well, now what? And, you know, I mean, there are so many good managers that are, I think, like, well, let's work on your material first and get more, so that, you know, when you have your moment,
there's stuff to tour, or stuff to present.
There's stuff to back it up. But then a lot of comedians are also, like, you know, the newer ones, like, well, why did they get it and I didn't? There's a lot of that, which it's always been around, but I think everyone else is, like, my generation has understood, like, we'll get there, we'll work on it, we'll get there. And where now I see a lot of younger comics just being like, I'm really funny, why don't I have that? And instead of, like, working on it until they get it, they're just, like, getting bitter and angry.
Yeah.
Just, you know, nobody wants to work and
wow, we are so old.
We're so old.
Nobody wants to work.
Hi. No, see, he's so mad. Okay. Just his head. You're fine. Yep, nope. I really want this to end with, like, me just covered in cats.
See, dreams can come true, even in the bathroom of a cat cafe.
Guys, I've never been happier. Oh.
You know the old cliche, like, comedians say funny things. Stand-up comics say things funny.